Did you know that your cosmetics could be a major source of forever chemicals you're putting in and on your body? After I did a recent video about forever chemicals, PFAS in your kitchen, many of you had asked me to do a video about skincare and cosmetics. And did you know that about 570 different cosmetics formulations have at least one type of PFAS in them? So in this video, I want to talk about what PFAS are, why they are a concern, what you can do about it, how you can educate yourself, and just knowledge is power. So for the next part here, I need to read this because this is something that I cannot remember. What are PFAS? That is short for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. If you can't pronounce it, that's really a bad sign already. But they're also known as forever chemicals. In 2014, PFAS, known as PFOA, was identified as a possible human carcinogen, meaning it can cause cancer in humans, and in 2023 was upgraded to a human carcinogen. So from possible to now we know this causes cancer in humans. The CDC has also linked increases in exposure to certain PFAS with an elevated risk of health conditions like increased cholesterol levels, changes in liver enzymes, lower antibody response to certain vaccines, elevated blood pressure during pregnancy, and more. So why are they so concerning? Because they can take a very long time to break down, which is why they're called forever chemicals, because they tend to not break down. And they can also accumulate in humans, in animals, in the environment, and in all the water sources. How do we get them in the body? We can ingest them. Let's say you're using lipstick and you're doing this, you're going to ingest them. If they can be absorbed through your skin, they can be inhaled through the air, and they can be getting into the body through your tear ducts. These are all various ways that PFAS can enter your body. There's also all sorts of health concerns linked with PFAS, and I'm going to leave some links for you in the description box below because I always feel like knowledge is power. And this video is by no means intended to scare you or make you anxious about it, because sometimes we cannot control everything in our environment, and for me it's always really important to figure out what I can control and then not worry about the rest, because if I'm just all anxious about it, that's not good for my health either. And therefore I try to focus on what I can control, what I can do, and what I can change, and this is really what this video is about. Where are PFAS often in cosmetic products? They can be in your lipstick, in your foundation, in your shampoo, in your conditioner, in your mascara, in your eyeshadow, in your sunscreen, and in your dental floss. And now you may ask, like, why are they in there in first place? Well, they make products wear better, last longer. They last longer on your skin or in your hair if you're using a conditioner. They help a product resist water. They enhance a product's texture and feel and consistency. They can make products waterproof, think sunscreen, mascara, and smudge proof. So how do you know if they're in your cosmetics? Well, one way always is to either just look at the ingredients list. Now, last I heard is that manufacturers are not always required or even monitored whether they're actually putting all the ingredients that are going into the formulations on the package label. Assuming that when you buy a product that all the ingredients are listed on the label, you can look for something, and in general, if you're looking for something that starts with fluo, you know that that's probably a PFAS. There's other exceptions to the rule, but that's a good general rule. You can also go on various websites. I'm going to link some for you in the description box where you can find out if your specific product has PFAS in them, or you can also look for something on the label, because sometimes manufacturers will say PFAS free. Now, we are often lured into thinking that our cosmetics are better and healthier because manufacturers put labels on like healthy or vegan or cruelty-free or all natural. And those labels really don't mean a whole lot, like the healthy and the all natural. That doesn't mean anything. The cruelty-free, yes, that means it hasn't been tested on animals. Now, we also have to be careful because there's so much marketing slogan out there and terms. So just because a product hasn't been tested on animals doesn't necessarily mean that the individual ingredients haven't been tested on animals. Vegan, okay, so that means there's no animal ingredients in the product. For some people that's really important, but I think it's more of a marketing slogan than something that I adhere to. But that's just me because I also am an omnivore. I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. So if you're vegan, that may be important to you. What can you do? The first thing is really educate yourself. I always think knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you can do and the better decisions you can make. Is this something that I'm really worried about? Is this something that I want to pay attention to, or am I actually okay? And I don't think that at this point we can completely eliminate and avoid PFAS, but we can also try to minimize the exposure and minimize how many we are actually putting in on our body. And there's a number of reasons why I would not want to buy and use a cosmetic product or skin product that has PFAS in it, for many other reasons than just the fact that it does not have PFAS. Another way is make your own. There's a lot of things you can make by yourself. I'm just going to show you a few here. This is my tallow skin cream. That's absolutely amazing. I know what's in it. And then I have reused an old bottle here. That's what I love to do. I sterilize it and then I reuse it and I make my face wash in it. I'm also leaving links for these recipes here and in the description box. And then here's my face serum. That's also just, it smells amazing and it feels amazing and it makes my skin look good. Certain things you can do that I haven't played with. I have a friend whose daughter makes her own mascara. Now, I haven't gone to those lengths. You can also make your own eyeshadow. You can make your own foundation. You can make your own blush. And many times foundations, yes, they can give you certain benefits, like make your makeup wear better, but oftentimes it's just a moisturizer. And you can also look for companies that are verified PFAS free. I have a few here. So for example, I learned, and you can always correct me if I'm wrong, just because I'm putting in a video doesn't mean that I know everything, and I'm trying to do my research, but we can always learn from one another. So please leave me a comment if I'm wrong on something. I heard that Whole Foods has a manifesto that they are not selling anything that has PFAS in it. So if, for example, you have a Whole Foods in your area and you feel comfortable shopping there, you should be able to get products that are PFAS free there. 100% Pure is a company that comes up often as a fairly clean, green cosmetics company. I love the Dr. Hauschka products, the mascara. I have this is an older Zuzu eyeshadow that I think is fairly clean. And I have the Tubes and Organics makeup and the foundation. Now, I don't use waterproof mascara, and that is why sometimes in my videos, once I'm done recording and I can't do a do-over, you will notice that I have a little smudge here, but that's just the price I pay for something that actually is better for my health. And then just generally anything that is long wearing, waterproof, like your sunscreen, your mascara, your dental floss can have PFAS in it, and it's because it glides really well. And something that gives you an all-day wear, or it doesn't do this or it doesn't do the other, the question is why? And that is where those chemicals come in, because they do ensure that a product has a certain longevity on your skin. For example, conditioners make your hair really soft and silky and comb through, and you can just use your hands and run it through. And but then you got to ask yourself, so why is that and what's in it? And there's a lot of alternatives out there that are so worth exploring and that are so much better, not for your own skin and for your own health, but also for the health of our environment. I hope that you found this helpful. I'm always trying to upgrade my knowledge and do the best for my health and the health of my family the best I can. I know I can't be perfect. I'm not striving to be perfect. And I know I'm not trying to live on an island where I can control everything. So I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I have. And I hope that this video inspired you and helped you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions that I hope I can answer. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.